Welcome to the JoContractor Show, a podcast created by three regular Joes. The JoContractor Show is a place where trade professionals, business owners, and homeowners looking for solid advice and amusement can hear stories of great success and great failure in the turbulent and unpredictable world of construction. On the JoContractor Show, we dig deep into the realm of remodeling and construction. We chat with construction trade professionals, business owners, and homeowners alike. We support local independent contractors and those who put their trust in the hands of these capable and hardworking business owners and tradespeople. We discuss construction and home maintenance from multiple angles, and we do it with compassion, purpose, and humor. Listen as Lori, Merrick, and Sam, along with a wide variety of guests, explore topics related to construction, home ownership, small business creation, and more. A quick reminder, don't forget to send your questions to questions@JoContractorShow.com. And after you've done that, please take a moment to hit the like button, subscribe, or talk about us tomorrow morning at the local coffee shop. We appreciate feedback and critique, and it lets us know that you're out there and that you care.
All right, hello everyone, and welcome to the JoContractor Show. Got Lori and Merrick. Hello.
Hey guys, good to see you again.
Hey everybody.
So enthusiastic. Let's do this. It's the show. We're doing it.
Oh yeah.
It's been a while. You got to get excited.
It has been a while, and we are super excited.
I know. Everyone has been excited to record another one. It's been very hot here in Minneapolis, so I think, it kind of being hot and sweaty, everyone's a little low key right now, but we'll get after this, right?
Yeah, don't want to move around too much and sweat all over.
No, that's what I've been doing all morning already.
Well, it's just full swing with the construction season too, so it's just harder for all of us to get together and coordinate this, and a lot of exciting stuff happening with the app too, which has been taking some of our attention.
Yep, it's coming, people. We'll, I don't know. It's still a few months away. It always is. Everything's always a few. It's like a construction project. Like, we'll be done sometime soon-ish, I promise. Anyway, all right. Well, we have a guest. This is a guest show today, not a question and answer show like the last one. So, Lori, would you like to introduce our guest?
Yeah, absolutely. I was fortunate enough to cross paths with Erika, I want to say 5 years or more ago, at least.
Okay.
And she was just getting off the ground, and she's a kick-ass woman, entrepreneur, and supplier of many things and platforms of tools and safety equipment and MC Sales and Tools.
MC Tool and Safety.
There we go, is the name of her business.
On your shirt.
Oh, yeah, right there.
Yep.
So Erika Scherman is our guest today.
Thanks for having me today. It's fun. It's my first podcast.
You don't know if it's fun yet. Yeah. You're just guessing that it's going to be fun.
Well, look at the company.
And Lori's fun, so.
Well, that's
counts.
true.
I'd say
That's
there's a
true.
good chance.
I think we can make it fun.
Yeah.
We'll try and live up to that, whatever that expectation is of funness.
I'm pretty easy to please if I'm not taking care of a puppy or teenage children.
Oh, how old are your kids?
I have a brand new 13-year-old who's entered there. His name is Liam, and I have a 15-year-old son named Gunnar.
No shit.
Yeah, both drummers at Irondale. They're
Drummers.
Yeah,
Very
they're in
cool.
the marching band, and I got roped in. So I also am on the board of directors for the Irondale band program. So that's fun,
Well,
too.
I have two boys that are 15 and 13, actually.
Perfect.
Yeah, and then I have a daughter who's 6, and she's my absolute favorite. So there you go. But I understand you got the boys. That's tough. That's a lot of work.
Everybody asked if I was going to go for the girl, and I said no, I'd end up with twin boys, and I'd be really outnumbered.
Oh.
So twins running both sides, and I was not chancing it.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. So, so MC Tool and Safety. I'm just curious. Like, you met obviously through the construction stuff, but like, do you own? Is this your thing?
Yep, I own a majority share of it. My dad started the company about 20 years ago. Exactly 20 years ago last February. So we'll have a 20-year anniversary party in September.
Cool.
I'll get you guys an invite. I know it'll be the
Yep.
hottest
hottest
party from
ticket in
noon to
town.
5 you can ever want to come to.
Early
Free
enough.
tools and shit, I imagine. Yeah.
We're actually rolling
We'll be
back
there.
prices to 2002 on our top 20 sellers. So anything that's been around that long.
That's
Which-
cute.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So we'll
I'm
do
putting
that.
it in my calendar right now.
I'll go. Why not?
Yeah.
Beer?
And yes, and seltzers, and probably lay away from the hard stuff just in case it gets a little crazy.
Yeah.
It'll be
Yeah.
fun. I used to work in the beer industry, so I've been in distribution for, almost 30 years. I just switched over to the tool side when my dad asked me to. So he didn't have a retirement plan, and he said, "You've always wanted to own a business. You want to come buy mine?" I was like, "I guess. I don't know anything about tools." And not that I don't know anything. I did make cabinets and mantles for a little while with a buddy, and have done some stuff, but I didn't know it to the extent that I need to know it. And yeah, actually, I met Lori on the Super Bowl when we were all
Oh,
doing
yes.
that Super Bowl vendor,
Yes.
meet other small businesses that want to work with.
Oh, you hesitated there long enough. It was a sort of like this cryptic thing. Like, what were they doing? On
I was just
Super
trying to
Bowl?
remember what it was. Some
Yes,
yeah,
we were,
women-owned
it was
business.
minorities for got access to get in on the vendor list, and you got on, and you had to apply to get on the vendor list.
Yeah.
And you got on it, and I got on it.
Yeah.
And we met at an event. And-
Yeah, at US Bank Stadium, I
Yeah.
think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was this when it was in town?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Cool.
it was going to be in town. It was about a year before that, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. Yeah, really fun.
Yeah.
So that was, I didn't get any other business out of it except you. It was perfect.
Oh,
Well, no, it was fine.
it
I
doesn't
mean,
get better than that.
Right? It was wonderful. So, but yeah, we started out, my dad and his business partner, Terry, at the time had been in the industry for 35, 45 years and got out for a little bit after an adventure and then came back in and said, "Let's start a distributorship." To which I'm like, "I can't believe you guys got this thing off the ground." But it's very focused on customer service and just having what our customers need and same-day delivery if we can. We stock what they need. We've got a warehouse in Blaine. It's got about 5,000 square feet, 3,500 SKUs, and we're manning it from 7:30 to 4:30 Monday through Friday. So there's my commercial.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Well, that's part of the reason you're here is to pitch that stuff. So, do you have a specific? I'm just curious about the business itself.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm trying to relate this to other places that I go to. Is it similar in nature to like a Acme, but on a smaller level, or?
It is, but we would carry a broader variety of specific things. So we really focus on specialty contractors, utility contractors, highway heavy, GCs that self-perform. And we're probably one of a few suppliers that carries Bosch's whole line.
Okay.
And Bosch has the best accessories in the industry. So even if you're using Milwaukee's or DeWalt's, and I can get both of those brands, I just don't stock them. And I can get more DeWalt than I can get Milwaukee, but that's a...
So is it mostly commercial or residential contractors that you're working with? Or?
Both, yeah. Abatement contractors, really anybody who values high service. The one guy in a truck doesn't work so well because most of the time your Home Depot's, Menards might service most of his needs, but anybody doing more. So if you've got 5, 10, 35 trucks, we love to outfit that whole truck from top to bottom, and we
Gotcha.
do custom printing on vests and shirts. We carry 4 or 5 different high-vis brands. We do respirator fit testing. We carry 3M and Honeywell respirators, along with another couple of lines that we need to fill over COVID. Obviously, it was hard to get respirators, so we picked up a few more lines there. We've got a really good relationship with Honeywell on the gas monitor side, so anybody working in confined space, or if you're in a basement or inside where you want to, if you're running diesel stuff and you need a nitrogen monitor, we do all of that. And we're one of the better personal monitor distributors for Honeywell, probably one of the highest in 8 states. which is kind of our little claim to fame because we're pretty well suited for everybody in the cities, and outside that we don't send salespeople yet. So, and then we carry Razorback, Irwin's full line, Crescent's line. We do all the measuring tools and leveling and layout. And
Climbing tools.
yeah, fall protection. We've got 3 lines of fall protection now. Actually, probably going to open up with 1 more, MSA. And
Are you following all this, Merrick? Like,
Pretty much.
yeah, I mean, like, this is like the next level of construction beyond where I ever got to, I think, sort of.
We have some fall protection.
Yeah, I bought
I have,
some
like,
once.
a bucket with a couple of
The
things
roofer's
in it.
kit. Yeah,
like-
yeah,
like
absolutely.
People
Yeah.
have the option of using it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Option.
It should not be optional.
I
No,
think.
yeah, go ahead.
Well, I think where we differ is that we love when you guys come and shop our warehouse. So our warehouse is set up to walk down in the aisles and shop with we got a little
Oh.
Sunex cart, and it's not like, oh, yep, let me go look in the back and see if we have it. It's, let's go in the back, and if I don't stock it and you need it, I'll get it. And if you're gonna come
Oh.
back every, week or every month to buy it, I'll stock it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will add on to that just to do a little sales pitch for Erika. Is that when we were developing our relationship, and then COVID too, we're like, Erika, we need masks. What do you got? She goes, nothing.
Yeah.
but I can get you something. I'll find something and I'll get it to you. And like you came the next day with stuff, and including some sanitary alcohol stuff that you found that was the best that was available at the time. So, and you showed up. They deliver. You call them, they deliver it. They'll show up, and there it is.
Yeah.
Nice. So you've made use of this relationship.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of like, I don't, obviously don't want to pitch other places, but it doesn't matter. But like Thomas Tool or Hank's Specialties or something every now and again I find reason to go to these places that I sort of enjoy. But you're right. I usually have to stand at the counter and it's uncomfortable because they're like, what can I get for you? Like, I don't know. What do you got?
Right. It's way more fun to go walk around and see what's going on.
And it's not very service oriented either. You're kind of just like, they're not, it's not the best.
Ranger, I guess, is sort of the same way too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you go in and they look at you like, you're not from around here, are you? Like, no, I'm not, but I'm just here on a visit. I'd like to say hi. No, get out. So you're similar to that in a certain way, but friendlier.
Right.
Yeah.
And our whole goal is to get you guys in and into the warehouse part and see how big we actually are. Because I think if you just look at the front office, we're small. There's 6 of us that work there, and we work real hard at making it as close to a neighborhood bar as I can without having to serve the liquor.
So how was the start, in the 2020 beginning of COVID and everything? How did that affect your business? It kind of affected different businesses differently. Like we had a really good year,
Sure.
because everybody was at home and they were like, I can't live with this bathroom, and I can see this paint because on the outside of my house because I'm not gone from 6 o'clock to 6 o'clock every day. Mm-hmm. But what was it like for you?
So for us, our big customers were like, if they were working on an apartment job, it got halted. Some of the real multifamily unit business that our core customers did was really put on hold, and they had a lot of people not working. From a commercial standpoint, that was a hard thing. We half-staffed, so we sent people home half the time. Some of them could work remotely, some of them couldn't. I paid them all full-time. Yep. it
Otherwise
wasn't their
you lose
fault.
them.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, right. And so we remained pretty flat to down through 2020, came back even 2021. 2022's really good. I think everybody vacationed this month, so July's been slow. But for the most part, COVID was fine, except the supply chain and the pricing issues have been really hard. It's been hard for us to mitigate
Yeah.
if we're going to get anything. And then the one thing that I would say is customers are way more apt to try something new. I can't get the glasses you've been buying for 5 years, but I have these 5 other kinds, and the anti-fog is better. So now you're wearing masks full time. I can make it so you can see. So they've been a little bit more open for that. But our business was all relationships. It was all walking onto job sites. It was all walking into offices, and that halted. So we actually put the money in and got a brand new e-commerce system. We have a full store online. It doesn't, have everything we offer on there, but it's got a really good chunk. If you can buy it in my warehouse, it's probably on the website. And then just, managing that with pricing has been the hardest with the price escalations on the e-commerce side. So I lose a little bit of profit margin there, but at the end of the day, the customer reaps the benefits for a little while. And
Until you figure it out.
yeah, until I'm like, we can't sell that for, $1 profit anymore. Because I got to keep the lights on and keep my people paid too. But we've been trying to reduce our costs in order to keep the cost down for our customers so they can stay in business and pay their people.
Yeah, I think that's been across the board,
Yeah, that shift to, leveraging technology is kind of one of the blessings we got out of this whole thing. Where
Right.
we're like, we just got to shift. We got to meet in these virtual spaces and online store like you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's definitely some opportunity in that. You're not running all over. You have a little more time to do some other quality work instead.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
and
love
you've
our
got-
e-commerce site. That's been the best thing to come out of it for us. It's just,
Do people buy stuff from it?
I had a guy in Connecticut and Vermont last month.
Yeah?
I was like, I'm calling him. I'm like, is this did somebody grab your credit card or is this okay? He's like, oh no, I need that cart. And I was like, okay, I'll send it. Here's your shipping costs.
Yeah,
So some of the technology that comes with it is you have to estimate shipping, and we don't. We just say, if I have to ship it to you, leave a phone number or an email and I'll call you and we'll charge you back for shipping, because that world we can't estimate anymore because freight costs are up so high. So there's been some, again, the customer's perception of paying for freight has come full circle because they understand they have to pay for it now.
Well, everything used to just come to you,
Yeah.
and then everything got disturbed and weird. And now you're like, well, I'll pay, I guess, if I have to get it because I want that. I
And
need
you
it.
get something that's not quite right. It wasn't really what you ordered, but it's close enough.
Right. Yeah, and so for a certain segment of the construction world, and I can just imagine, because we're all kind of like this, but so they've been, like, where's my favorite thing? Oh, you don't have that anymore?
Right.
But what am I going to do? That's the only kind of thing I've ever used, whatever.
I've
We
10
all
other
do
things.
that.
Try them all out.
Yeah. Well, that's nice of you.
Yeah.
Change is hard. Change is hard.
Change is hard.
Yeah.
I agree.
People have gotten flexible, which is good.
Have they?
I think so.
No, I'm
I don't
kidding.
think there's those triple A's anymore. I think they all had heart attacks.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like even talking about the world of construction, it feels like just so much has changed, but it's coming back in certain ways. Things are feeling more and more like they maybe used to,
I agree.
but new, kind of in a different way. Like maybe we've all changed a little bit or something. I don't know.
I hope we've grown.
So what was it like taking that over from your dad?
Well, he's still my business partner, so he'll
Okay.
look at retiring probably next year. But jumping in as the majority owner was great. My dad's really fun to work with, and he's super easy to work with. And when it comes to business partners, I think that's really important. And he's a good teacher. So, and then Terry McClellan, who I bought the company from, stayed on up until last year. So for 5 years, I had him as a good, solid mentor, and he and I actually are a lot more alike than my dad and I are. So it worked out in that he really would teach you how to take care of the customer, what's important, and our core values are, the relationships matter. Those first and foremost. Be good to each other, do the right thing, and open communication. Be honest. That's even with our customers. I'm like, I can't get that, or this is not what it was before, and we really just try and clue them into the hardships that we may be having so that we get to the best solution for them.
Yeah, and it sounds like there was, when you were talking about it, there was like almost an apology in your voice for it being a small spot with 6 employees, you know, but like, that's good, right? I mean, you have clients that you meet their needs, you can sustain your business, it's going well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I do apologize for that, and I don't mean to, because honestly, all 6 of us know all the customers, and so they get really good customer service from whoever they talk to. And
Right.
we can do as much as the big guys do, only better.
It feels like everyone always wants to be the big guys, though. But like, really? Do you really want any part of that?
No.
You know?
I don't. I want people to perceive us as the little guys that can do it all, you know? Like,
Yeah.
and we can. Everything. I can buy everything that the big guys buy. I have relationships with all those vendors. I'm on the board for STAFTA next year, actually, Specialty Tools and Fastener Distributors Association. So that's coming up.
Are you you're on their board?
I will be, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess if I don't get voted down, I will be. So maybe I'm premature on that, but I'm looking forward to joining their group. And then the Association of Women Contractors, I'm on their board too in Minnesota here. So
How long you been on that board now?
just this past year,
cool.
I want to say when it was, I think I got inducted in like January, so
Okay, so
6
no.
months there,
Yeah.
So,
I always shied away from all of that sort of stuff.
Did
All
you?
the industry stuff. Yeah, not that it's a good thing. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I think, but
Busy is what it is busy.
When you
busy.
get involved,
meetings and
yeah.
it is, and I think both of those organizations are really respectful of your time, and what we do as business owners, so that's really great. It's been a wonderful thing. What the AWC being on that board has allowed me to do is ask for more business for the first time. I'm like,
sure.
you should be buying from me. You know, we've known each other for 5 years.
Right.
So give me a little bit more.
Are they working boards?
Yeah.
Okay.
AWC is. I don't know much about STAFTA
Okay.
yet. I'm excited to see what
Yeah.
happens there. I think that's a really fun opportunity for a company in Minnesota to be a part of. I don't know if anybody from Minnesota has been on that board before, so.
Where is it out of?
I don't know where they
Yeah.
run out of. They might all work remotely, but I'll find out in November when we have our meeting.
We'll get
We're
back
going to
to you.
San Diego for the meeting this year, so
Oh,
it'll be
that's-
fun.
Super fun.
Well, I have a question about your about the distributing. So it sounds like your online store you probably use freight carriers or whatever, like
FedEx.
UPS, FedEx.
Sometimes. Or you can just choose local delivery, and then it goes on the back of my truck, and I deliver it to
Okay,
you.
that's the part I wanted to hear about. So how does that work with do you have like a fleet of trucks, or do you have are you personally driving the stuff around? Or
I
how does that
am. So our salespeople are also delivery people. So when we don't utilize either speedy delivery or a local courier or FedEx, UPS, it gets loaded onto our pickup trucks, and we deliver it right to the job site or the customer's warehouse, or sometimes it's the customer's house after hours, because that's when I can make it. So it's that's the model that we wanted to set up, because you get more touches on the customer. It's that relationship thing.
Yeah, and it aligns kind of with the contractor way of doing things too, like the dropping it off at their house at night, like that's
Yeah.
makes
We all know
perfect
that.
sense to me.
We've been known to. I can put it behind the bush in front of our front door, and you can pick it up. But you might want to get there before
Right.
the fleet of turkeys that hangs around my office picks it up. Who knows?
Oh, turkeys everywhere these days. So do you do you have any siblings?
I have one brother, and
One brother.
he lives in Seattle area.
Okay.
He's been out there since '93, and he owns Vintage Viewpoint Appraisal. He appraises classic cars. He's an amazing man and does a lot of really cool things with really cool old cars.
Very
Doesn't
cool.
want anything to do with our business here.
No. So you took you went in and worked with Dad, and that's nice that you that you think he's a nice guy and that you can work with him easily and all of that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
great.
And it's
That's
always
not-
been that way?
Yeah, actually, my dad and I worked at a computer printer company right when I was right out of college. We were both doing printer sales when he got out of the industry for a little while. I got laid off in the first recession right away. He hung on for about 4 or 5 years, and then they laid him off too. But.
Yeah, that's unique. That's a unique story, getting into business through that.
So your dad will be retiring, then you'll be 100% ownership then, or how's that going to work?
I'm not sure if we're going to do employee buyout on his shares or what that looks like yet. So part of me wants to have the employees have a piece of the pie, but there's a lot of interesting things to consider when you're going into business with a bunch of people you work with.
Right.
I had a good friend, since we're all business owners, and we've all probably owned and run and done. I mean, we've all probably tried things that didn't work, is what I'll say. But I had a friend at one point, because I always thought that giving ownership to the employees was like the way to go. That's, everyone wants a piece of this, right? And one of my friends said, I'm not that ambitious, Sam. I don't actually want any of it. So I've moved more toward, how about, would you like some of the profit? I can share the profit with you, but not necessarily the responsibility of ownership. And that sometimes feels like it works better.
Yeah, so there's some open dialogue with some of the longer term employees and trying to figure out what the next best move is. So.
It's funny because we just talked about it too with, I met with somebody that puts together businesses, employee-owned businesses, or helps put it all together, and it takes about a year. So I learned all of how to do it because Gabe, my son, does not want to take over the business. And I mentioned, well, what about, owning it with other people, employee ownership? And he was like, yeah, that's great. I would do that. So I set up this meeting with this guy and talked to him for a long time. And he goes, we can talk in a month or so or whatever. And I'm like, I got off the phone and I thought, no, hell no. I put this business together and it's working and we're making money. And until Gabe takes over, maybe like you, maybe it'll switch over at that point. But I'm like, do I want to share anything yet?
So you're not sharing for yourself.
I'm like, nah, I don't think I'm ready yet.
It's tough. I mean, not everybody, running a business, it also means you're doing a lot of stuff after hours.
Right.
And, you're kind of 24/7. So
At least carrying that emotional load.
that too, yeah. Who's going to go home and worry about it?
Right. Hopefully not my team, because if I'm doing my job right.
Right. Yeah, so that can be tough. Well, we have really blasted through.
We will be back to the show after a few quick ads from our valued sponsors. Wonder Woman Construction is a Minneapolis-based, woman-owned residential and commercial construction and electrical company. Lori and her team pride themselves on their commitment to long-term green and sustainable building practices, and they apply their deep understanding of building science to each project they take on. They are dedicated to the complete satisfaction of every client. One more thing that you absolutely cannot miss about Wonder Woman Construction is the fact that every employee loves what they do and truly enjoys working with each other. The best projects are those that are done by happy people, and Wonder Woman Construction is full of happy people. Visit WonderWomanConstruction.com to get started on your happiest project ever. Kinetic Legacy is the company that powers the JoContractor app. Their unique platform blends the good parts of social tech with their one-of-a-kind data organizing system, giving communities large and small a safe, private space to stay connected and to keep information and memories organized. If you and your community have a shared purpose or passion and are looking for a better way to stay connected, contact Kinetic Legacy today at kineticlegacy.us. Find out how groups from contractors to campers, tribal communities, unions, and alumni organizations are finding their way to meaningful new spaces in this increasingly digital world. Again, that's kineticlegacy.us. Reader Home Restorations is a Minnesota-based full-service residential general contracting company specializing in the repair and painting of historic homes. Whether your home needs repairs, painting, or remodeling, Reader Home Restorations has got you covered. We understand that every home, client, and project is unique. At Reader Home Restorations, we pledge to give you a long-lasting product while paying close attention to client questions and concerns. Check us out at www.readerhomerestorations.com. That's Reader spelled with 2 E's, homerestorations.com. The JoContractor Show doesn't let just any old company put an ad in the middle of a show this important. They have to pay us. Send us an email if you're certain your business should be featured on our show.
All right, welcome back. Second half. I don't know what happened there. Looks like we stopped recording at hopefully just the right time. Ran out of room on the old memory card. But anyway, we're all back. I think everyone's taking the not talking over each other's stuff too seriously. We can talk at the same time, but just not for prolonged periods of time. Yeah.
Okay, Sam. Yeah. There you go, Merrick. We got the release.
It's just good to hear you guys in there with me. Anyway, so during the break we did what often happens during these little breaks, and we started talking about real life, and not politics in the sense of what are your politics, but just how it's important to avoid them kind of while you're running your business. I think
that's what we all agreed upon. And how about that? Everybody agreeing upon it, that leave the politics at home and let's just get to know each other and like each other and develop relationships.
Absolutely. And allow each other a space to think their own thoughts and be their own people. It's my favorite because I think people are just so interesting.
Yeah, and generally quite nice. I was about to tell a little story. The other day I was working and my 15-year-old called and he said that my 13-year-old had been in an accident on his bike. And, they never call for help. So, of course, I'm like, all right, tell me how serious is this? Well, someone stopped and they called the ambulance, and I'm like, okay, but Thiessen, cut to the chase, man. I need to know, is he okay? And it took me a little while to figure it out, but he was all right. But I dropped what I was doing, got in my truck, and drove over to where he was. And so, 13 years old, he had crashed. He was bleeding. His elbow was bleeding, and some, his hip and stuff, and he had road rash, and there was an ambulance and a police officer, and so 3 people had stopped before the cops got there. Then they called the cops came, then the ambulance drivers came, and they sat there with the boys, and all of those people in a mixed up pandemic world with politics ruining everything all the time, were so damn nice to my kids and did anything they could to help out in that situation.
Awesome.
Yeah. I just think that's the way we actually are when we take a step back from that stuff.
Right. And realize we're all human. Everybody needs a little help.
Well, and realize that we have more in common than we don't.
I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And how amazing to live in a society where an ambulance just comes and a police officer and a neighbor calls, and to have those kinds of services is amazing. I mean, that's a huge human evolution, historically.
Totally.
Absolutely.
To be able to have that.
Yep, they showed right up. They treated them and just took care of the kids. So, yeah. Anyway, I don't know where that was headed other than that, but so second half. So, Erika, so you've got your business and everything. What do you do when you're not doing business?
Well, I've got 2 kids in marching band. They're both drummers. My oldest has been a drummer the whole time. My youngest has been a violinist and a saxophone player and is now moving into drumming. So I'm involved in that on the board there. I do some other I've coached every sport my kids have been in.
Were you musical yourself or your husband?
I was in the drum line too at the same high school.
Yeah.
30 years ago, and they had
following
the first
suit.
one. Yeah, so yeah. I may have pushed them in that direction.
I'm on board
I want
with
to play
that.
tuba.
I'm a drummer too.
Are you?
Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. I can't play set. My feet and my hands don't do anything together except walk.
I'm
So you're probably a better drummer, and I can just sit at the trap set and, and not be so exacting.
Yeah, I was definitely a marching drummer.
Nice.
I'm forbidden by my wife from doing
Don't
anything
pound on
percussion.
anything.
Like I can't clap at concerts or anything. She's like, "What are you doing?
Right.
Not even close to in sync with this." Like, oh, I don't know, rhythm. I don't-
Downbeat. That's not the downbeat.
God, I don't know.
You might need to bring some of the ear protection from work home so that you can think.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Well,
my
that's
gosh,
cool.
It's crazy. Yeah, so I do that.
What about the new dog?
Oh, I do. I have a new baby.
Oh God, I thought you said nude dog.
Nude dog.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
she's
no.
naked all the time.
Is there such a thing?
No wardrobe yet.
We're brand new dog owners, so it's like the first time you have a kid and you do everything wrong.
Like you've never.
Like
owned
I've
one?
never owned a dog. Not. I mean, I guess I had one when I was a kid, but she was older than I was, and
Well, that was
gone
your
before I
parents'
was 10.
dog.
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh yeah, all the
Right.
kids who were like, "Yeah, I had a dog when I was a kid." Like bullshit.
Yeah, right.
Yes, you
Now I
fed
got-
it and bought all the food.
I
and walked
know.
it most of the time. Yeah.
So-
You know what I mean.
Oh, God,
Her name
yes.
is Sage. She's a black lab, and she's uber smart and such a puppy. She does whatever she wants, and she's like me. So she look at you, and you tell her, and she knows what she's supposed to be doing, and she just barks at you, and is like, "I'm not going to do that, lady. I don't know what you want me to do." But she's great. She's like 45 pounds already at 6 months old, and
Are you sure she's smart?
yeah.
I mean, it's just
think
like
so.
it's like a proud mom sort of thing. But labs a lot of times.
I
they're-
know. I let's just say my lovely friends have a really, really dumb chocolate lab.
Okay, so you've been around a dumb.
I've been around a dumb lab.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I have a big dog at home named Noodles, who is the sweetest dog there ever was, but he is not smart.
I would love a sweet dumb dog to play with the smart little
Okay.
shit of a dog. I love her. I love her. But she's I think her dad's a really, really good bird hunter. And her mom also hunts, so she's got it. I honestly, she was the last in the litter left, and there's a reason. Like, she's not going to be the bird hunter, but we just needed a backyard dog that can do some tricks. So I'm going to take her to the obedience school that teaches her how to do the agility course. Like
Oh
that's
yeah,
my goal.
nice.
Instead of birding.
Well,
but
if no one hunts, you don't want to train.
Yeah,
a dog.
and actually my kids shoot traps, so there's some possibility, but there's no reason to train her to be a hunting dog. It's like $5,000 or something stupid to send
It's
them
a
away.
lot of
It's
work.
a lot.
Yeah.
Well, and then I think to be fair to the dogs that get trained to hunt, you have to actually take them out and hunt with them, because I think, people, if you don't own dogs, that might think that that's kind of cruel. You're teaching them to do this. Hell no. They are like only happy then when they're out
Yep.
doing that thing that they learned.
Yeah,
So-
and we don't
Yeah.
have the time or the energy to do all that stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It caused, my nephew did it with his dog, and it was off training maybe half the year. Every 3 weeks, it was gone for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And they put a shit ton of money into that dog, and it loves to go hunting. So,
Yeah.
is it worth it? It is for them.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you don't give them a job, they're just going to make one up, and it's probably going to be a huge pain in the butt what they choose.
Yep. They'll find
Choose
it.
something.
Yeah.
I do want to get an agility course for that, though, because she just needs something to
Yeah.
think about and do.
Well, that's
so.
kind of fun.
Or another friend. She needs another dog.
I know.
Gotta
Maybe
get
one of the
two.
dumb ones.
Oh,
That's what I
Already
keep telling my
pushing her.
wife, is we need another one.
I want a big Maine Coon cat that stays in the yard. Like, if I could do that.
I had a real Maine
I did
Coon
too.
when I was a kid.
Did you?
Who lived in Maine. And
Oh. Was
it,
it 45 pounds and this big? Because that's when
it wasn't quite that big. But, and I didn't mean to cut you off,
No,
but
you're
this
good.
thing lived, my dad, after college, got a job working with this electromagnet on a big,
Oh, that
on a
always looked like it'd be
backhoe,
fun.
And he could, the thing
Oh,
would like
yeah.
go
Yeah.
up and down.
Like from
and
Gone in
you
60
could lift
Seconds?
up a car and set it on the car pile, and the crusher would do the thing. I don't know exactly what he was lifting, but steel. with
Not
this
the
thing.
cat?
And the cat would be in the cockpit of this thing every morning when he would get there, and eventually he brought the cat home, and that was my cat when I was a kid.
I love it.
Oh,
It was
wow.
a
And you
official
lived in
Coon.
Maine,
Yep.
and you got a Maine Coon cat. Who does that?
And he was this big, loved me, would never hurt me, but he was mean.
That's
Oh.
a similar story to the one Marissa tells about finding you.
I was kind
Just
of
in the
mean back
kitchen.
then, yeah.
hanging out,
He
hanging
just
out in
would
the
be
cockpit.
there every day, and I just adopted him, I guess. I got one.
True
He won't
story.
go away.
Yeah, we just recently got a little kitty to go with, so Noodles the cat, or Noodles the dog, excuse me. And Noodles, the name Noodles came from compromise because everyone in the family wanted a different name, and the kids were crying, and I was cooking pasta, and I said, well, how about Noodles? Because everyone loves noodles. But anyway, so
Everyone does love noodles.
yeah, like
Yep.
you can't fight over noodles, and all the kids and my wife were like, yeah, actually that's fine. Well, noodles works. So of course the cat's name is Ramen because the kids.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. I love your kids. They're
Yeah. Yep. So.
Yeah, then kitten, the new kitten now
Ramen
is
and noodles.
ramen. I tell your story all the time now.
Oh, do you? Well, and I want to hate the cat. Like, I really didn't want it. My wife had cats when we first got together, and they were already, like, established. You know, I don't know, they were middle age or something, and then they live forever, and that's
know.
okay.
It's
But
lovely.
and and they, you know, they lick the butter, and they're in your face all the time. And there's fur, but they're awesome. I do love them. But I was like, when the last of those two was gone, when Onyx was gone, I was like, okay, you know, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna be catless. And then now we've got a cat, and I'm looking at the kitty. It's super cute, but I'm thinking, like, I got to know you now for 25 years. I'm going to be chewing on your fur. You're going to be sitting on my pillow, licking your butt. Like, I don't like this. But whatever, it's super cute. I can't hate it.
Do you guys know anyone that has like a job site dog? They bring their dog to work, and the dog kind of.
I've known those people over the
I
years.
have. I can't think of anybody right off. I think actually it was me when I had my last dog.
Oh, yeah.
I worked at a home builder in the late 80s, early 90s, and Dugan was the Italian Mastiff, and she
Ooh.
was fantastic shop dog. Oh, just
Nice.
beautiful and lovely.
Yeah, I've always envied the people who have those really close
I
relationships with their
tried.
dogs.
When my puppy was really small, I was like, all right, this is going to be a job site dog. and then she would like rush up on the clients barking like angrily to protect me. And I'm like, yeah, this is not going to work.
My son's baseball coach had a like field dog. I forget the name of that dog. Rose, maybe? But I mean, off leash the entire time, and it just knew its thing. It would go, and they would practice for 2 hours, and people would come by. Like, never went anywhere, never caused any trouble. Super nice dog. I don't know how you raise a dog like that.
I don't either. I'm hoping we get there, maybe. That's the one reason I would send her away. Be like, can somebody just train her to be good?
Like the most mellow thing you ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, you can train that.
Can you just, or even just to listen, not run into the street. I don't know.
So I have a question. So you're on these boards,
Mm-hmm.
like 3 of them or so, and you run a company, got kids, now you got a puppy.
Right.
Do you cook and clean at all?
No.
No.
Okay.
My husband cooks. He's actually was the kitchen manager at a little Italian restaurant when I met him.
Oh, sweet.
Oh yeah, he's a phenomenal cook. He does almost
Nice.
anything, and he loves smoking. We got rid of our smoker. He actually smokes on the Weber grill, and if you are adverse to it, it's better than anything we had on the Traeger. Nothing against Traegers. We love the pellet one. It just kind of, lived its useful life, and we used it well, but we opted to just keep one, and the
He's
Weber.
doing a good job.
Oh
on
my
the Weber, huh?
gosh,
What's he
yeah.
making tonight?
He's got 2 pork loins actually that he bought. I don't know if he's smoking them today or not, but so he does that, and then we broke down and hired somebody to clean the house
Yep.
twice a month.
Well, if you're
Cheaper
gonna
than
be-
marriage therapy.
I said
Yeah.
it's the marriage or it's the cleaner, and my husband was all on board, so it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, you don't seem like you asked him one day, like, hey, do you think I should join this other board or whatever? You just do stuff,
I
don't
do
you?
just
yeah.
it drives him crazy.
I picked that up pretty quick.
I did ask if we could get the dog. It was
That's nice.
actually a
That was probably a good idea.
3-week campaign on my part, maybe 5. of continuing asking, so.
I can only speak through my limited experience, but as a husband, once the campaign starts, like the second you hear it, you're like, oh shit. Like, I know where this leads. Like, you think it's like a campaign. It's more like we're just trying to delay it as long as possible. Because, like, I heard about the cat we were going to get for a long time. And I knew once you mentioned to a 6-year-old and a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old that there's a cat coming, like, there's no not a cat coming.
Right.
Once that's out there, it's done. It's just how long can I push this off by reminding you how, like, showing all the clawed up parts of the house from where the other cats had done all the damage in the past, like, remember that? Yeah, I got about 6 months.
We lost our cat, so my mom passed away 10 years ago, and she had a Maine Coon mix, but most looked like a Maine Coon. And we lost her last June, and I've been kind of lobbying for another cat, and I'm losing that battle, which is why I think I won the dog battle. So.
Well, I guess what I was trying to tell you is
I could keep trying, but I'm not
you
trying
never
that
lose
hard.
the war.
I know.
Like, you can lose the battle for a while.
But I'm trying to be
but you always win the
respectful
war.
enough to, so. Now, he wants some sort of dog that doesn't shed. I'm like, I don't think they have Siamese cat dogs, but you could try.
Right.
It reminds me of this marketing tactic. It's called a drip campaign, where you you send down an email and then you send down a follow-up one 3 or 4 days later. And then if they ignore you, there's an automated one that goes out like a month later. That's like, hey, just hello. You hear from us yet? And you can automate the entire thing, so that these emails, you send one email and it's got, it triggers all these other ones until they respond.
And that comes somehow pre-programmed in Wives, like that they just
It's a drip.
Right. I'm sure it's very calculated. Well, you don't want to go in just like the next day and be like, how about that dog? You want to be like, let it sit, right?
So here's how it happened at my house. It was my dog was getting a little older, and my wife said, you need to get a running dog. And I said, I'm fine. I don't need another dog. I don't want one more dog to take care of. And so she would go around the house and saying, I think its name should be Vivian. Here, Vivian. Oh, Vivian. All day for like 2 weeks.
to the imaginary dog.
To the imaginary dog. And I'm like, I guess Vivian lives here somewhere. So
Better go find one that looks like a Vivian.
We got an Australian Shepherd now named Vivian.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we all know how it works.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the sort of like what I've done as a husband, like I don't have big toys. I don't have a big boat or a giant truck or anything, but I do have like 6 or 8 canoes or whatever. So I guess, I'm sure there are things where the reverse is true, where I have quietly lobbied for long periods of time to get something that I want. But
Yeah, there you go. There's a good question for all of us. What have you done without permission?
ooh,
Oh.
God.
Well, it has to be something that's known now in case.
Yeah.
Not something what have you done without permission that you haven't been busted for yet? I don't wanna do that one.
Yeah.
Mine was, I'll start while you guys are thinking of yours.
Yeah.
Mine was, we were going to sell Tammy's house in St. Paul and buy one next door to us for a rental. It would be easier, closer, talking to the banker. And I want her to be involved to know some of these stuff, or the business moves that I make. And so I said, listen to the banker so you'll understand how this is going to work. We're going to do a little exchange and blah, blah, blah. And then the banker's on the phone. I have him on speaker. And then it was, and about that other property, you should be able to get that too. And my wife was like, what other property? What the fuck?
Like, thanks, Steve.
And I was like, oh, no. She goes, just go ahead and play the game of Monopoly for real life. You do what you do, and I'll do what I do. And she went to the kitchen and started cooking.
Yeah, I guess that that sort of reminds me of what it is that I did that I didn't ask permission for, and that was sink my entire life savings and everything I've got into a digital business. Woo! And I podcast all the time, and that gets me nowhere, so I love it. I love the laughing.
Well, I I can't think of anything like that, but I did lobby for a motorcycle for like our entire marriage, total drip campaign, like over years without pushing it so hard that, you know, and then eventually my wife is like, my friend is selling their motorcycle. And I'm like, and you're telling me this because of why? Well, you should go over and take it for a ride and see if you want to buy it. It's like, I was like, it's like, all right, whoa, like, okay, great. And I went over there and I was getting really into like photography at the time, and I was like, you know, spending a bunch of time in the woods, and I went and hopped on this motorcycle and, you know, drove it around the block and pulled it back up, and I'm like, no, not into it anymore. I just don't, like, doesn't seem cool. It seems dangerous. I'd really rather just like go take some pictures in the woods.
You dripped your way right out of it.
Yeah, right.
She knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, she.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still have a big motorcycle, and it scares the shit out of me sometimes driving it. So I get it.
I had a motorcycle when my husband, I actually didn't have a car when my husband met. When I had met my husband, I only had a motorcycle. And I had it up until I was, I guess Gunner was 1, but the last time I rode it, I was about 4 or 5 months pregnant, and I rode it into storage. And then I sat on it for a year. It was in actually the building I'm in now for work. I parked it at my dad's office. And like a year later, I looked at my husband, and I was like, Gunner's going to be 1, and I'm never going to get on that thing again, so we might as well just sell it. But I loved it. I mean, it was a Harley. I bought it when I was 22 or 21. And
Very cool.
I was the only girl that had one my age. You know, it was fun back in the day. Which I replaced with convertibles. So I tend to buy convertibles with
4 wheels.
4 wheels, open road. So I bought a 96 Mustang convertible 3 or 4 years ago. The tragedy on that was it was in storage and it drowned. A sprinkler pipe broke and it was in the basement. It was in 6 feet of water. It was beautiful.
No.
All original, totaled. But
You didn't try to restore it.
no, once they get wet, it's a hot mess.
Oh.
It's a hot mess. Everything's corroded. Like in the little ashtray, all the coins that were in there, by the time I took it back into possession, because I bought it back from the bank because it was cheap and sold it.
Yeah.
But all the coins were corroded. Everything inside that motor.
Yeah, all the little window motors and all any little thing, I'm sure.
So that, and I just bought a 2005 PT Cruiser convertible that my kid could drive because he's 15. He can't drive my work truck.
Right.
Do those have value?
Yeah. I don't know. It was in Seattle, so my.
You know what I'm saying, though, a PT Cruiser.
Well, okay, so we're talking 6 months ago. You couldn't find a used car. I have a
Right.
kid
Right.
turning 6 or 15, and I'm like, well, he can't drive what I drive. He can't only have my husband's car. So my brother was out shopping for his 16-year-old and found a coupe PT convertible and this a coupe PT and a convertible PT, and I'm like, is that PT convertible still available? And he's like, yeah, I think so. But it was $5,000.
But that's out in Seattle.
Yeah, and so my oldest and I drove it home over Memorial Day weekend.
Do they make those anymore? Yeah, I didn't.
That has like the exposed axle. It's kind of like, right? Isn't that the thing? It has like the.
No, that's the Plymouth Prowler, isn't it?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the PT Cruiser looks like the little Dick Tracy cars. They came out in 2000.
Yeah.
I had a coupe, a brand new one off the line in 2000.
That was cool then.
It was. It's not cool now.
I don't think they aged very well.
No, but people loved them and took pristine care of them, or they beat the living shit out of them.
Right.
So my brother found 2 that were very, very well maintained.
Well, they don't see salt out there, too.
Exactly.
I mean,
So that's
I
why
bought
I
a
buy.
vehicle out in Seattle
Yeah.
years
Right.
ago.
I have a dream of taking a 70s F-250 and restoring it like from top to bottom. Mm-hmm. Just think
The
that would
80s
just
ones
be
are
so
worth
cool.
money
Once
now.
I have 6 months of my bills in savings, I'm
You're
gonna
gonna do
reward
that.
myself with a.
You better talk to the wife about that. 6 months. Blow all your savings.
Oh yeah, right.
Look what I got, honey.
Is that a drip campaign too?
It's a little heavier than a drip campaign. She wants a Miata. I'm like, we don't have room for 2 vehicles. I've been talking about this for 2 more years than you.
Get the Bronco. The top comes off the Bronco.
Yeah, you can fit a Miata
is a
just
good
about
idea.
anywhere, though.
You could park it, the other way.
Sideways,
Put
right?
the Miata in the back of the F-250.
I always liked those Miatas. They're cute little cars.
And my aunt's got a couple of MGs for sale. Little
Yeah.
blue midgets.
Yeah.
They're cute.
A little more problematic, though, right?
Oh,
as
God,
far
yeah.
as taking care
and
of them.
old. They're from the early 70s,
Yeah.
I think.
That's a whole cult
Oh, yeah.
following those MGs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're so fun to drive, though. You can't find sticks anymore anyway. So if you're going to drive a 5-speed, you got to get something old and fun.
True.
Oh, that's true.
I know. How are my kids going to learn?
Well, you can, my car over there does everything. You can have automatic or shift it from the steering wheel.
Yeah, my
Yeah, but you
husband's
don't have a
Infiniti.
clutch.
No clutch. It doesn't even work at all. What an idiot car. Idiot-proof car,
Just
maybe.
push the button and it parks for you.
Yeah, how about that?
I can my truck has which is like a relatively new vehicle, and when I'm in towing mode, I can downshift, which is kind of cool, feature. So
Yeah.
it can be rather than using my brakes all the time, I can just, if I hit the gas, tap the gas once, it downshifts,
Oh, nice.
Ooh, weird electronic stuff.
which is kind of
Yeah.
nice. 'Cause
Yeah, cool.
Otherwise, brakes just.
I've got a 94 4Runner that I still drive around. That's a stick. Then, send your kids over. They can't kill that damn thing. I mean,
I need one.
I have tried my best. That thing, if you didn't know this about 4Runners, they go about 35 miles an hour in reverse all day long. No problem. I was really good at driving that thing in reverse. But anyway, what else we got?
I think we have one topic we always bring up.
Okay.
Platform. What's your favorite platform of tools?
Oh, tool platform.
I want to,
Yeah, we should probably bring it back to construction at some
Like,
point.
power tools?
I feel like we did good.
yeah.
Well, it's Bosch, because that's the only one I stock all of them.
That's why I had to ask.
I really think that, they've got a really good workforce. They're all workhorses, they all perform, and they're really great. I think their breadth of product is not enough. They need more.
Really?
Yeah, specialty stuff. We lost a lot of sprinkler guys and some of our mechanical contractors because Milwaukee's line does a little bit more. But I think Bosch, you talk about concrete, you talk about straight up power on those hammer drills, and their vacuum systems are great if you're working on concrete. So
I'm
I like
a
it.
Bosch guy.
nice.
And those new batteries, what are they called?
The core.
Yeah. And and they work on all the old tools, and they last 4 times as long and don't heat up as much.
They've got a whole new line called the Pro Factor line that actually performs as well as their corded tools in terms of concrete drilling and just getting in there. So it's a different brushless technology, it's a different motor, and it's a different battery. All upgraded and uber powerful. I actually was talking to my dad, and we're going to do a couple more videos because I got a bunch of concrete in my front yard I got to break up. I'm like, Pro Factor video day.
Yeah, I'm a Bosch woman too.
God, I've got Makita. Don't even talk
It's a
about
great
Makita.
homeowner line.
Oh, whatever. Makita was great.
1982 or what?
Got your weed whipper and your leaf blower.
Oh,
and
man. Oh, I love my Makita stuff.
I
it's-
do have some Makita. I've got a little bit of everything, but Bosch is what I have the most, and that definitely is the top.
Well, I think, from the way I've watched it all play out, for a little while there, DeWalt came in and was like, woo, everyone's got to have DeWalt. I never liked them that much. The Makita was always far superior as far as the quality.
Yeah.
And then Bosch was good, but they really had a very limited line for a long time. So if you wanted more tools, you didn't want to get into Bosch because yeah, they had great small hand tools, but once you buy the battery platform,
Oh, yeah.
you got to stick with it.
You do.
Yeah.
And then really in the last many years, I would say Milwaukee and Bosch, and I would still throw Makita in there, are DeWalt has everything, but I think they've gotten almost too much.
Makita nailed it with the kit, where you get the bag of tools, you buy the one box, and it's got the saw and the impact, and like that kind of
the
they were kind of the
tool
first
packs.
one to really push that hard.
Yeah, I still like all my stuff, but
I think
really
they
do
came out
think
with the track saw first too, didn't they, Makita?
I believe so. Yeah.
I think
For
they
my
did.
time.
That's what mine is a Makita.
Yeah,
I had
I
a
think
carpenter
best
that had
tool-
an old Makita track saw, and I didn't even know they existed. And this
Right.
was a few years ago. So, and now I have a Bosch. But
The new Bosch compound miter saw on the Profactor line is ridiculous. That thing is.
So with batteries.
Yeah.
Does it have the articulating arm like that?
It goes, like half chop saw, half, it just does.
that's what Gabe got, didn't
all
he?
the things, yeah.
It's heavier than
amazing.
shit, though.
Well, yeah, but
But
you
it's-
got the corded one? No.
No.
Yeah.
It's really nice, though.
It is.
It's- I've got
makes me
that
wanna
huge
buy
Bosch.
tools.
Oh,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I got that huge Bosch 12-inch saw with like the knuckles on the back of it. where
So it
like,
doesn't have. So you can put it up against a wall.
You can put it up against a wall, right?
Yeah.
But then
Rather
I was
than-
like, oh man, now I need to buy a trailer just to move this thing around.
I know. I know. I just bought 2 new tile saws. I know tiling isn't the biggest thing in the world, but no one makes a nice portable battery operated tile
Tile saw.
saw.
Is there
Wet saw?
one? There isn't one, is there?
No.
What tile saw do you what kind do you use?
DeWalt actually makes a 10-inch saw that is it's the D2400 or something like that. It's kind of like everybody's favorite if you're into a big, heavy saw. Otherwise, you can go up from there and get, if you're doing a lot of production work like Ruby or MK or whatever, the rigid stuff from Home Depot is actually they make in the 8-inch and smaller, they make like the nicest little units.
Who knew? That is what I have.
This is the rigid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't do just tile, but that's what I own.
Yeah, they make a new 8-inch that is right around $600, and that one's like really a great saw for that. But it's funny that like all the precision tools out there, like no one's making like a really kick-ass little tile saw for some reason. But,
I can do some digging. I got a couple of good,
do you?
a couple of good trade shows coming up.
Yeah.
And you
I
kind of
haven't
think
seen much in
tile
tile.
saws with a battery one should be out by now.
Oh, yeah, because you're working in bathrooms, you're
Right.
working in,
You're working in
Yeah.
places without power sometimes,
Right.
with an outlet or two or whatever,
Or you beg the
construction box.
electrician to put one outlet in for you.
Yeah. Yeah, and you don't necessarily have to do a lot of cutting always. No, it's just, it's like one area where no one seems to be dabbling in tile
A
tools.
lot of those have just like a grinder body built in. Some of the
Some of the
cheaper
smaller ones, yep.
tile saws.
Yeah, those are screaming loud is the problem with them. I'd like to see one that comes out that's in the 7-inch, 8-inch range. I guess everyone's doing all these big, large format tiles, so everyone's got to have these huge saws now. But I do all smaller mosaic stuff, and I just like to see a precision saw for that.
yeah.
That's small, lightweight. I just don't like carrying around huge tools anymore.
No, or extension cords are heavy and crazy.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I sell some of them, but they're 100-foot. I brought a 100-foot extension cord home thinking this could be great. That's the dumbest invention ever. It never
Wrapping it up.
wraps back up. It's so heavy. I'm like, well, no wonder nobody buys these.
Right.
Unless you're going to leave
Probably a
it there
10
forever.
gauge too, or whatever. Like,
Right, 10-3.
yeah.
400 pounds.
Yeah. Gee, nice cord. And you look at them and it's like climbing rope or something. You're like, I really do love that, but I don't need that.
Yeah.
I'm not climbing Everest.
I
don't
needed
need
it for camping because my husband has a CPAP, and I needed to be able to get to the CPAP and our tent, or the CPAP in our tent to the little,
Outlet.
Yeah.
the outlet that's in the little gazebo thing or whatever. And I was like, all right.
So you guys
I like
can
it.
RV.
I don't ever need to camp again. I just go rent a camp.
Rent a cab.
I don't want to park that anywhere.
That's the
That
problem
is-
with
that
them. They're
is a
awesome.
problem.
I'll
They're
tell you.
super awesome, but where am I going to put it? I'd rather buy another convertible
All
and then rent a cabin. Well, yeah,
All of ours are parked like permanently at the land, so it's like you have this trailer that's
be fine.
permanently parked right there. And
I could do that.
Mine just on the street in front of my house, pissing off my neighbors.
well, you kind of got that like I might need to leave at a moment's notice sort of thing about you anyway, right?
I mean, it's a valid concern.
I get it. Well, anyway, on that note, we've more than taken up your time here,
No,
Erika.
I really
but-
appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you?
You are fun.
Was it fun? Did you actually have fun?
I
again?
do. Again. Yeah.
See.
It's all
She
the
manifested that.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, you dream a dream, and then along comes the fun. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. Again, what do we have to say? So it's MC Tool and Safety here in Minneapolis.
Yeah, we're located in Blaine, just off of 35W. We're about 10 miles north of here.
Yeah, Blaine,
more
to the north
maybe.
side of town.
Yeah, but we're on the very south side of Blaine. Like it used to be.
South side of the north side? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
so here's a tidbit. It was Mounds View, and there was a racetrack there in the 70s, and Blaine's like, oh, we want the tax revenue. We will annex that from you, Mounds View. That's the rumor. So I don't
Really?
have official records. But yeah, so we're actually Ramsey County, and we're south of County Road J, which is Ramsey County line, so.
Oh, someone in Mounds View is like, she's right.
I know, we want it back.
Those bastards. I remember when they came and took that.
Like 4 people left in Mounds View.
The
from
one
then.
person listening from Mounds View. We know you're not listening. Whatever.
I have lived in Mounds View my whole life, and there's a few of us. We're kind of lifers, so.
Well, let's remind our guests, not our guests, our listeners, go ahead and do whatever you're supposed to do. Subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. I don't know, can you push a button with a smiley face on it or a little like symbol or something? Like, do
Absolutely.
something because otherwise we kind of have no idea if there's anyone out there. Oh, and don't forget to send us questions about contracting to, I'm going to say, what is it, info at JoContractorshow.com. Thanks. Info at JoContractorshow.com. I'll have to get an alias for that and do questions at JoContractorshow.com. But anyway, thanks for listening, everyone. I appreciate it. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
coming on.
Thanks. Thanks, Erika.
Thank you so much for listening to another amazing episode of the most important show out there. Before we go, we want to thank you again for supporting us and for all the lovely things you say about us on social media. Shows like this grow with help from people like you. And remember, keep sending us your questions. We really appreciate the stories and the great insights we gain from our audience. We also want to remind you that you can buy shirts, hats, and more at JoContractorshow.com. Be good to each other, and we'll catch you on the next show.